Hi everyone, welcome. Thank you for joining us today on our Positioned for Purpose Conversations with Colette Marie podcast. I'm your host, Colette Marie. Yes, our podcast is for women of faith who struggle to see God in the places of pain and hardship and who need a reminder, a gentle reminder that right where you are, God will use you in the mess, in the hardships, in your most challenging times, in your heartaches and in your pain. God has a greater plan for your story. I'm your host, Colette Marie. Yes, I'm a life coach, author, empowerment speaker, and trainer. Today, our conversation will be on the role that our friends play in our journey. Today, I have with me a very special guest. You will love her, trust me. Her name is Wanjiro Wangai Samuels. She is a life truth speaker, yours advocate, RS Amnesty International civic educator. She's a grief share facilitator, taught HIV/AIDS trainer, and she's also a podcaster. Wanjiro, welcome and thank you for joining us on our conversations today. I'm so looking forward to the gems and the value added that you will be bringing to us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Wanjiro Wangai Samuels, and I'm privileged. It's an honor to be here with you to have this conversation. And yes, like you have introduced, one more thing I want to add is that I am a fierce friend. When I love a friend, I love them for real, to the long haul. And I am an emotional friend as well. I get involved in one's emotions, and your heart is my heart. And I'm also a fierce parent to thanks to challenges that have hit me in my life. And not I was not always like that, but I have learned that I really have to be hands on and not just exist, not just get by, but really be involved in everyday life of my children and children that I interact with, whether they are mine or my neighbors or my community. I am hands on, so you can call me a big auntie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're
Yes.
a big auntie, you're a fierce friend, a fierce parent, and you are a fierce advocate as well.
Yes.
Today we want to talk about the role that friends play in our journey, right? So I've read this African proverb and it says, it should be familiar to us. It says, if you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Break that down for me. What does that?
Well, and especially more today, but let me just take it back to our parents and their parents, especially here in Africa. A child born into a home was considered a child of the community. And why was that? Yet, they have their nuclear family, they have their parent, their mother, and their father. But it was considered a child of the community. It meant that you as a parent might not be able to see everything. You might be so concentrated on one thing that you miss out on every other aspect. For example, there can be an indiscipline cropping up in your child, but because you're looking at your child with one kind of lens, you'll not be able to see. But somebody else looks at them differently, and they'll be able to identify when this child is going astray and bring them back on track. So that is what I think that statement meant, that I wouldn't, like, for example, a neighbor wouldn't watch a child, say, for example, bullying another, and they walk past because that's not my child. At least that's not what we do here in Africa. I mean, I'll be involved by the time the parent is coming on board. We've had a conversation, maybe I've pinched you here and there, initial restraining, initial discipline before we go to the in-depth of it. That's what it meant. You bring a child, you bring the child to a community. And I think that resonates as well with walking the life's journey, because you cannot do it alone. There are aspects of your life that somebody else might identify and you have not seen it in yourself. we hear statements like musicians or artists, and somebody say, I was discovered by, so and so discovered so and so. You have been singing all along in the shower. You have been singing in your kitchen tabletop when you're cooking, but your neighbor hears your voice and like, wait a minute, that's an opera singer, or that's a top star, and they call that out of you. So you by yourself will not be able to identify, oh, I'm a great singer or I'm a great cook. It takes somebody else to taste your food and say, you should consider opening a chain of restaurants, or consider selling your food.
Yes.
Somebody else has to see it in you. That's what I think that statement would mean. If you want to walk fast, you walk alone. But if you want to walk far, you work with other people, because they will be able to hold you accountable. They would be able to check you when you go wrong. They would be able to direct you. They would be able to show you direction or ground you sometimes. So I think that's what that statement means.
And as you were speaking, the thought came to me, right? You started out talking about our parents and our grandparents and how they parent and how the community came into parent. And as we are talking today about the role of friends in our relationship, I could see that playing out there as well. Because friends, we call things out of each other. We see something that the other doesn't see or think that it has no value. And you're able to say to me, but Colette, you're good at this thing. Have you considered? Do you think that you so in us wanting to go far, and because that's the aim, we want to go far, not just to get there fast. It takes someone else to be walking that journey with us. And in the walking of the journey, they're able to pull some things out of us that either we were resistant to or we didn't see that it was there. In your walk, in your purpose journey, because friends, I want you to know the conversation is about position for purpose. And position for purpose is simply serving where you are, but you're not walking that journey by yourself. There is someone that is coming alongside you. So, Wanjiro, how does that person walk alongside you in your season of living out your life purpose or walking your life's journey?
Wow. In my journey, which I'm going to greatly refer to in this conversation, I have had different friends for different purposes and in different seasons. But I have also had a friend who has been constant throughout. There is always that one who, even if you do not link up every day or you don't talk every day, but when you have that conversation, it's like you could have 10-year gap in between your conversations, but it feels fresh every day. It's like they're right next to you.
Yes.
So there's that one constant one. And then you have those ones who are seasonal. They are there for that time when you need them for that moment. But as progress in life, they drop off. You either drop them off or they drop off by themselves, or circumstances around you cause them to drop off, or you'll fall out of alignment, or you grow to another level. And once they have served their purpose, you cannot force that growth to happen. They are for that season and that's it. So, of course, I have, I'm just trying to think, in order for you to get this category of friends all in one basket, you have to first understand who is a friend. And in my definition, a friend is somebody who I share with a mutual bond of trust, a mutual bond of respect, a mutual bond of affection. It's not like an acquaintance or a colleague in the office who is just a casual contact. A friend is somebody who goes in depth. And I think the name friend is constantly misused because not everybody is your friend. You would be in a family, but you have one friend in that family. The rest of them are your relatives. They are your siblings. You were born of the same parents, but they are not your friend. They are your relatives. You're related by blood. You're related by the common bond that is your parents, but they are not your friends, because a friend goes beyond. They get behind your skin. A friend is a friend to me is a person who will tell me the most uncomfortable things about myself, and I will not be quick to fight it. I want to understand. So why do you think that? A friend is somebody who will check me when I am going wrong. A friend is the person who will nudge me when I am procrastinating over time. A friend is somebody who I will enjoy fun moments with, just have a good time. A friend is also somebody who will be there with me when I'm going through a difficult phase of my life. And all these people are different friends. I think it would be unfair to overwhelm one friend with all of that.
I love.
And especially a human friend.
Yes. I
And the
love
truth
how you
is,
just broke that down.
now saying, and the truth is that the only one friend who can wear all these hats and not feel overwhelmed and not feel some type of way is only God. But because we are talking about we are in the world, though we are not of the world, the Bible tells us, in the world we live it here. And in this life, as we live here, we have to live with world people who are humans. They're not spirits. So you be sure that you're going to have great moments in a friendship, and you're going to have hurtful moments in a friendship. And some of those hurtful ones are what now expose the reality of who people are. And it is very important, I think, before you let somebody into these three aspects of your life, you share a bond of affection that goes deeper into trust and respect. You have to be very discerning, because there are people who come into our lives. We accept them too first, but yet they have other intentions that are not really friendly. And those are some of the negative traits of a friendship. Those are some of the setbacks in friendships.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's important to have discernment in our relationships. It's important to understand not all friends will be with you in all seasons. We have to know when they've served their season and let them go. We have a tendency to want to hold on to them, and it doesn't work out for us and it doesn't work out for them. There's a tension that starts to develop. But the discernment is key to say that their season in our life has ended, or our season in theirs has ended. So we must go on.
And I think the overstretching, I think the overstretching of a friendship where you expect this person to wear all these hats is what hurts a friendship,
Yes.
trains the friendship.
I'm glad you say that, because sometimes we believe that this one friend is the be all and the end all for us. We're expecting them to serve us in all these different areas, and they're not able to do that. Right? That's why we have different friends that are in different seasons, and we have to understand when they're there. And also understand that there are one or two that will walk all these seasons with you. They are your journey partner, is what I want to call them. They're there to see all the different seasons. But I have found that there are some seasons that they may take a back seat to allow that other person to come in and occupy this particular space, because it also gives them a break too, because friendship can be tiring, right? It can be, and we don't want to wear each other out. One of the things that you said that I actually like is sometimes we don't want to hear the hard things from our friends. We want to hear the good things. We don't want them to ask us some hard questions. But when we're really in relationships, you have to ask, if your friend is not asking you the hard things, if they're not pulling you, then you have to ask, are you really in a friendship, in a relationship with this person? Because friend is beyond just a casual high or a low. They're up in your business. They're knowing what is happening, and I'm wanting to believe that we're honest and open with each other. But then there is something that you say that I really want us to pick up on. And you talk about sometimes when we're hurt by our friends, how does this make you feel? So you're walking on your journey that you believe that this person is walking alongside you. And then hurt comes. How do we navigate that? How do you navigate that season?
I truly believe that a true friend should be loyal. I do not have to be in all. See, the reason why you're my friend and I have allowed you in my life and you know me in an in-depth way, so that this is an unspoken expectation of me, is that you can represent me in places I am not in. So I expect loyalty from my friend. But if I would, I would get wind of, or I would know, or I would walk into a conversation where my friend is involved in, say, quote unquote, discrediting me, or, a smear campaign or something, then I will clearly know very fast, no matter the explanation, that that relationship has been betrayed.
Yes.
Because for me to be vulnerable with you as my friend, it means I am telling you things that I would otherwise not even say nothing about.
Mm.
And me telling you that, it means I am sharing because I trust you. So unless I have given you the permission to share it, then it remains with you. It's me sharing with you. I'm just unburdening. I'm sounding it off you. I want your advice, and it has to be truthful advice. It has to be honest advice. So definitely, when hurt comes into a relationship, it's as sure as a romantic relationship breakup. It hurts. It's a heartbreak. It's a sense of betrayal because I have invested. You remain with a part of me that, if it breaks, it hurts, right? But there is a but to that, for it not to hurt as bad. If we are both mature human beings, and I know gossip knows no maturity. Gossip is 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 skimmy. Gossip is sweet. It's like a snake slipping off your tongue. It just wants to go out. And at that particular time, probably that friend is not saying it from a point of wanting to hurt, but it's from a point of maybe feeling sympathy about this situation, and they end up betraying. But now it is the maturity or the level of trust or the level of respect or the depth of this relationship will matter if we all come clean. For example, if I would find out that a friend of mine is trying to say, discredit my reputation, for example, and I find out because maybe they did not expect it to blow out of proportion in the way that it has blown out of proportion, I would expect this friend of mine, no matter how I react, because my reaction should not be judged with, but you are my friend, you can't react like that. No, if you hurt me, how I react is just how I react, and you shouldn't hold it against me, because then that becomes a controlling sort of narcissism kind of a behavior, because you don't hurt me and expect to choreograph how I react after you hurt me. I just react and you go with the flow. But if I react in that way and then you're there asking yourself, but she shouldn't have done that, but he should not have done that, then that means you are not a friend. The moment I hear and I react, even you, it should shake you in a way, so that you come and look for me and we have a conversation and say, I understand you are hurt, but this and this and this is what happened. You probably took this out of context. You probably overreacted in this, but this is exactly what happened. And I did this because of. We are being accountable to one another. And that is where it creates a space of saying, I am sorry. We apologize to one another. However, if that happens and this friend decides now it's time to undo and do and overdo, then that's when you realize it did not just happen. This was a plan all along, and it probably exposes jealousy traits in this friend. So probably the relationship started off well. But over time, jealousy crept in, and this person harbored jealousy in their heart. All along, as they're walking alongside you in your journey, they're jealous of your achievement. They're jealous of the progress you're making. They're jealous of the opportunities you're getting. They are not happy about how your life is generally going. And so they start now, because they know you too well. They know your character, they know your morals, they know how upright and how straightforward and how focused you are. So the only one thing that they can go after is your character, or try to ruin your name in places where you do not know. So you would go, they would be sitting somewhere, for example, and somebody says, oh, we actually have an annual, employee, blah, blah, or end of the year something. And we are actually looking for somebody to come and talk to our employees about, and they would never mention your name. And if somebody tries to mention it, they're like, oh, really? You think she can do that? You think he can do that? And they poke holes into the understanding or into the perception that these other people have of you. Not all relationships start bad. Some start good, but along the way, because this person has served their usefulness. But unfortunately, you're still holding on to them and really wanting to go the long haul in this with this relationship. It becomes punctured.
Okay.
And that's why we should be fast to, once you discern that, you be quick to let people go, leave them behind. So that kind of a friendship, if that kind of a friendship breaks, to be honest, my opinion, there will be a separation, but there will be no hurt. And especially if I know there is a jealousy creeping and it is jealousy pushed, there will be no sobbing or weeping for the relationship to break, because clearly it has overstayed. It should have gone a long time ago. And when you join the dots backwards, you start realizing, wait a minute, I prolonged this. I shouldn't have. So it does not happen in a vacuum.
I like what you said, because it brings us back to discerning. So discernment is key in our relationships, to see what needs to go before we get to a place where jealousy and a different level of emotions starts forming, because we want to hold on so tightly and not realizing that we are either squeezing the life out of the person or squeezing what is inside here to come out, which wasn't even ours to experience in the first place. But I also want to look at some things that I picked up from you, some characteristics of friendships that I heard you talk about. So we talk about loyalty, we looked at trust, respect, honesty, and integrity. These are like some unspoken rule that we have for the people who we call our life partners. These are characteristics we're expecting them to have, and us to have for them, to demonstrate for them as well. And the key I find is...
And just to add on that, characteristics of true friendships, in my opinion, one, again, which is very pivotal and very important, is actually to have open communication without having, like, you are in a space where you can share your thoughts, you can engage in an honest conversation, you can share your feelings without fear of judgment. Absolutely.
So we're going to add that be open, have open communications where we can share our thoughts, our concerns, whatever, without feeling that we're going to be judged, because then the relationship now becomes one that's not honest and open, because I'm saying what I believe you want to hear, and so my honesty for myself is not being shared. And I like that you talk about don't discredit or emotions. So if there is a hurt that has taken place, yes, you're noticeably sorry, but the thing about why are you feeling this way, why that, and you don't understand why, you're discrediting how I'm feeling. And as friends, we want to make sure that we're not discrediting each other. How we're feeling in this moment, you might not understand it, but surely you can empathize that if I feel upset about something, you're able to get it. And it's critical, because when we're walking this journey called walking in our purpose, and know that persons are going to come alongside us at different seasons and stages in our lives, all that you have said are things that we need to know, that we need to take into consideration, because sometimes we go on these journeys almost like a blinding, thinking that all is well because we want to fulfill the mandate that God has given on our lives. And we believe that everybody who comes on our journey, all things are going to be rosy and dandy. Yes, but in life, there is not only just rosy and dandy, there are things that are going to come to break you, but to also make you stronger in the process. So we have to be open for that. And as I said, recognize the seasons, recognize the type of friendships that we are having, recognize that if I'm not able to be vocal, be open and honest and transparent with my feelings, with my emotions, then I have to question what's the relationship. So my next question is, so we've talked about who you need in the journey with you, the friends, and what some of the characteristics really are. We got that from what you just said, but I want to know from you as we wrap this up. As you're taking on a new phase in your journey, what are some of the things that you believe that a friend can help you with in this next phase of where God is taking you?
I feel that the kind of friend that I want around me is the kind of friends that will spur me to growth, is the kind of friends that will offer constructive feedback. You know, when I think I have it all figured out, I want honesty, honest and constructive criticism in the kind of work that I want to do. I would also want somebody who will support me and I will support them in their growth and well being, you know, because you might take up a lot of things and maybe you just need to concentrate on one. And I would want somebody who I can be able to really trust with my work, you know. I want to trust you with my work. I want to come and be my sounding board. You
Yes.
know, when I want to run off an idea and I come and it could be too exciting for me and I'm so excited about it and maybe it's just a lot of crap. I want you to honestly tell me that's not for you. Yes, it is something, but that's not for you. Instead, can we run by what other ideas? And then now we narrow it down, we eliminate, and then we remain with that which. But I don't want a yes friend, because then that is a person who will not spur you to grow. That's not somebody who will support you to grow. They will be listening to your mediocre ideas and they tell you, oh yeah, clap for you. But when you go out there, guys are thinking, is that all you could come up with? You know? So I also would want somebody, a friend who moral support during both good and challenging times, because you could I could start something and at first it's so good, it's growing, it's picked up, it's taken, and then it plateaus. At that point in time, I'm really trying to push this thing, but it has plateaued. I want a friend who will come and tell me it's time to reinvent. It is time to branch out of that plateau. It's time to do this. It's time to do that. And that applies both to, two-way. It is not just a
Yes.
one-way thing. But above it all, I want a friend who is grounded. I do not want a friend who is woke. Sorry. I do not want a woke friend. I want a friend who is grounded. Wokeness means so many other things that I really do not want them to be part of my journey,
Yes.
because wokeness is mostly referred to as the things of the world.
Mm.
And when I say this, I mean, those people who say, oh, there's a third eye, there is illumination, there is all this kind of, I don't want that kind of a friend. I want an authentic, grounded friend. Like it all goes back to, if everything comes to an end,
Yeah.
who are you? Who really are you? You don't start giving a lot of stories. It should end into one thing. Who really are you? And that comes from a person who is grounded, and grounded in the word of God, grounded in family. I don't want somebody who believes in things. I want our beliefs to be aligned.
Yes.
I want somebody who is aligned to what I believe in. Our belief systems, should make sense. I want somebody who would share our values. We have shared interests and values when it comes to, say, things like parenting. What do you, whatever, how I believe, or what I believe about parenting, I want somebody who shares the same values with me. I don't want somebody who will come and tell me, no, I believe this and this should be that. No, that wokeness I do not want.
Okay.
Clearly, for me, I'm the old school type living in a 21st century generation, and I would honestly want somebody who believes in the values, the true value of what family is, and not somebody who comes and brings in other things, because that would mean that our values are not aligned.
Aligned.
And
And
when it comes to, so for example, if it is career and things like that, I want somebody who would be able to offer guidance as I also offer the same, or offer, like I've said, criticism, positive criticism. Our social issues, should significantly be aligned. If they are misaligned, then we will have a problem. But I also do not want somebody who would constantly rely on me for emotional support, because then you would be pulling out the space of God in your life.
yeah.
Know that if something, and I don't want to be, I'm not that kind of a friend. I know there are things that I will come and have conversations with you, but I know there are others that I wouldn't, that I would only take to God. So I
Yes.
do not want, I wouldn't want a friend who would constantly, anything they want to sound it off Wanjiro, anything they are coming, Wanjiro is the solution to my drama. No, because then you wear out, you wear me out, and I start feeling like I'm not gonna pick their call when they call me because you
Ah,
know,
yes.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So you gave us a lot to chew on just now. And I saw it covering career and family, right? So
Mhm.
you need someone there that's grounded in God, grounded in family, who is aligned with your own belief system, your values, and your interest. Someone who will spur you to growth, who will provide constructive criticism, who is honest and will support you with the work that you're doing. And how you broke them down over the different areas of your life with the career and family, those two stood out to me. Because when you're able to identify them like that, then you know the persons who are coming into these different spaces. And I like that the one thing governs almost all. The only separation is when I talk about something, because we can get excited about things and it
Yeah.
sounds like a great idea. And I have my
Absolutely.
person who say, yeah, it's gonna
and
work
that's
for me.
gonna and that's gonna make you lose so much money,
I am
and nobody
telling
is
you.
telling you that you're getting into a pyramid scheme or a Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
And oh my gosh, you're gonna get so much. Wow, what an investment. And
Yes.
clearly they know, Lord,
Yes. So
you
those
want
are the
somebody who will slap you back to reality.
yes, we need that. We need, and I like that. We need a person who's gonna clap us back to reality. Say, girl, you're crazy. That's not going to work. Don't you see? Da 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 da. We want to be able to
Mhm.
have these type of women that are so grounded and who are not afraid to give us constructive feedback. Because at the end of the day, if we're walking together, when they see me, they see you. And so if we're
Mhm.
not walking in solidarity, if I'm allowing you to do silly things, crazy things, and don't feel as if I can say that to you, then we will now have to evaluate the friendship. Wanjiro, thank you so much for this candid conversation
Mhm.
on the
No,
importance and
before you go, I just wanted to, one last one. I thought, we as women, especially, are so powerful.
Mhm.
So powerful, because the truth of the matter is, you are a motivational speaker, you're a trainer, you do all sorts of things. Your target audience is not necessarily my target audience.
Mhm.
What you bring to that room when you're training is not what I bring. But lives are changed when you speak. When I speak to my target audience, I bring in a different angle
and lives
and
are
they
changed
see
too.
differently. And like, so we need to have a space where we have friends who don't look at us as competition. They look at us as value addition, but not as competition. Because there is so much, just like Jesus said, the harvest is plenty, but the workers are few. That is true today. The
Yes.
harvest is so plentiful, but the workers are few. So, for example, if I would, a friend who would be a mentor, who has probably done this before me, and I decide, I'm saying, I would like to know, teach me a few things here and there. I think I would feel, if a younger person comes to me and they want me to teach them a few things that I have known or I have walked along my journey, and they probably want to do the same thing as I do, I would look at them and I'll be like, wow, impacting the next generation.
Yes.
I am planting this seed into this person, because then they're going to pay it forward. But if I look at this person, I'm like, in this age of digital, making money online and being out here, and everybody has a channel and everybody's talking, they're going to push me out of the market. No, they won't. No, they won't. Because if you pass on, or if you pass down the right things, and if you hold this other person's hand and they become, in fact, a teacher produces a student who becomes brighter than the teacher.
Yes.
So we shouldn't be scared of that, because that's a legacy.
Yes.
They will stand and say, Wanjiro was my mentor.
Yeah.
And when they see the fruits of this mentee, they'll be like, Wanjiro did a good job.
Yeah.
She must have really impacted in you some rich stuff. But then if we look at each other as competition, as not wanting to, and unfortunately, that is the hush that is in a lot of friendships. I want to be your friend because I want to know the secrets, or I want to know the nuggets, or I want to know how you do what you do so that I can outdo you. That should not be the agenda. The agenda is, I just want to learn so that I can carry these nuggets with me, and I can move to the east and impact the east while you impact the west. Because at the end of it all, we all win.
Yeah.
Even if you come to the west with me, or I come to the east with you, still, you're not going to conquer the entire east. It's
Yeah.
going to be many of us in different levels, in different counties, in different states, in different districts, and all of us are going to do a good job,
Yeah.
and lives will be transformed. At the end of the day, we should be looking at the bigger picture. I want you to be happy, because when you're happy, I'm trouble free.
Yes. So what I got from all that you just said is friends supporting friends. Friends who are, we're not competing against each other,
Yeah.
but we're impacting each other. The space is big enough for all of us because our impact is different. We may be doing the same thing, but we're reaching different persons with our messages, and lives are going to be changed and transformed by how we take on this journey. that we're walking in, fulfilling in our purpose, in serving right where we are, and there are different seasons for different things. But just knowing that in this season, this is who I need, this is what I'm doing, this is how I can support you, this is how you can support me. It's about impact, and we are all winning.
Yes.
We're all winning. So today I want to thank you so much for joining me on our conversations with Colette Marie, Positioned for Purpose. I want to thank you today for joining us on our Positioned for Purpose Conversations with Colette Marie. Today, our special guest was Wanjiro Wangai Samuels. She has shared her heart on the role that friends play in our purpose journey. And I hope that you have taken some valuable lessons from what she has said, because these are lessons that help us to grow, help us to mature, not just to look out for the other person who is serving us, but also how we're able to serve them as well. You'll find further details about how to reach her in the show notes. Wanjiro, can I ask you to just pray for those persons who are listening, who may be going through difficulties with either being a friend or the friends that they have and not sure how to navigate their journey?
Absolutely. Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you so much for having allowed us to have this conversation. This very conversation that is so important in our life's journey, because even your word says that you are our friend. And so, Father, even tonight, as we navigate this journey of friendship, Father, there could be a sister out there who is struggling with a betrayal from a relationship of a friend. Lord, I pray that tonight they will know, they will understand that they are not all friends go with us the long haul of our lives. And instead of them sitting and grieving about this lost relationship, that would pick up their pieces and move on, knowing that they are friends for a season and they are friends for a reason. But apart from all that, oh Lord, that you are our friend through all seasons, not as human beings are, but you as a Spirit of God, as a Son of God, Lord, you are our friend through our seasons. You are our friend through our good times. You are our friend through our bad times. You are a friend that picks us up when we are down. So, Father, I just want to thank you for all our listeners. I pray, Jehovah, that you will give them that discerning spirit, that they will be able to identify who are the true friends that they should walk with in their life's journey, who are the true friends that they should be able to introduce even to their families, to their children, to their parents. Father, I thank you that we will not walk this journey blindly, but we will walk knowing that your Spirit goes before us, around us, and more so within us, that we'll be able to identify the kind of friends that are aligned to our journey. Father, I thank you and I bless you because of my friend Colette. I thank you because of this podcast. I thank you because of our audience. I pray that this word will reach many others and that their lives will be transformed, all for the glory and honor of your name. I thank you and I bless you tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen and amen. Thank you, and join us next week for another Positioned for Purpose Conversations with Colette Marie. Bye. If you enjoyed this week's episode and found a value in it, would you consider liking, subscribing, either Apple, Spotify, or iHeart Podcast? Share with a friend or leave a review on the show. You doing that helps to allow other persons to find this podcast and also make it be a blessing to them. Looking forward to see you next week.